Okay, folks, Andrew Bopros here. I'm going to try to attempt to explain Brandon Staley's pattern match zone defense. Here's the post that I did 4 days ago. 106 of you voted. Wanted to see OFA show, and I hate Brandon Staley. So, guys, let's get into it.
Bull Bros!
Okay, folks, as always, like and subscribe if you do enjoy the content. I'm Andrew Bopros, and I'm actually filming this on my birthday right before we play the Packers. So if I'm no longer on this earth, it's probably because we lost to the Packers. Go Chargers. So again, let's try to explain what this pattern match zone defense is. Very confusing. A lot of people don't really know. It happened right after we beat Miami last year. I remember very vividly. The Niners beat them, and then we came and we beat them right after. Everyone's like, oh my God, you just emulated what the Niners did. Brandon Staley started talking quite a bit about how, no, we do pattern match. We do all this other stuff. This is a compilation of really what that means for Brandon Staley. Now, again, there's some general concepts that you need to understand. It's about, first, read and reacting, right? Zone principles, which is, okay, good. Man-to-man adaptation, which is good and also confusing. If you're zone and man, which are you, right? We'll talk more about that later. Communication and versatility. I think in theory that makes a lot of sense. I can understand that makes a lot of sense, but here's an example of really what generally Brandon Staley's defense is. Okay, so when we talk about read and react, again, the safeties are extremely important when you start looking at the important positions on the field. I mean, every position is important, of course, but again, the free safety needs to look for the vertical routes on the far side of the field, right? So if anyone's cutting this way, they need to look. Now, remember that because Derwin gets beat on a very bad play, and we're going to talk about it, right? Daniel Popper wrote a great article after the Lions game. I'm going to use some of the slides from that article and just use some of the information on that article to explain a little bit about this pattern match zone defense. So again, crossers. So you're not only looking at your side of the field, because again, everything's cut in half. You have this side, he has the other side, the safeties. You're also looking on the other side to determine if somebody's crossing, then you need to cover them, or you cover the shallow route, right? Or you cover the crosser that's coming across, or what if they're doing mesh across? Again, all of those crosser routes are beating this pattern match zone defense because it's confusing. You're talking about man, you're talking about zone, and you're talking about all these different things. This is a great example, and this is from Google AI. Brandon Staley's pattern match zone defense is a defensive strategy that uses zone coverage that plays more like man coverage. Okay. How does that work, right? Okay. And we're going to go through all that. Pattern match zone defenders line up what appears to be zone and then falls into coverage and plays more like man. Okay. Defenders fan out to their zone landmarks, which is zone, as you know, but keep their eyes on other key players as the route progresses. Okay. Makes sense. Adapt, flexibility, versatility. Okay. They play man coverage against receivers based in the series of rules. For example, when an opposing offense uses motion before or at the snap, that can change which coverage players is assigned to which receiver. That is extremely important, guys, because a lot of these wide receivers run really choice routes, right? So they come up to the line, and depending on if it's zone or man, they'll run a different route. Everyone knows that. That's why motion is so important. Quite frankly, this is partially why this pattern match defense is supposed to be so good, because it's adapting to what they're showing. Does that make sense? So it should, in theory, be better. But again, bottom line, the defenders are getting confused. I'm going to show you more slides and a couple plays just to accentuate that conversation. Okay. Now, I'm going to read the bottom here. I know my camera is blocking a little bit, but Staley believes that having more talented coverage players allows defense to play a greater variety of coverages. He often deploys two safeties deep, again, to oppose passers from throwing it deep, which unfortunately, folks, we lead the lead in explosive plays, not only on the ground in rushing, but also in passing. So, guys, proof's in the pudding, guys. It's not working. So, Staley believes in pattern match defense concepts, which requires his coverage players to play off receivers depending how the route and concepts unfold. Okay. Again, are you confused? Yes, everyone's confused. For example, an opposing offense uses motion before the snap or after the snap, he can change which cover player is assigned to which receiver. 100%. I'm going to show you some slides that are going to show you where the defense was confused what the Lions were doing. The Lions had a fantastic game plan, guys. I broke it down in my video. Go watch it, right? Truly, like, I'm not hyping it up, but I'm telling you right now, Ben Johnson did a fantastic job of just beating us in what we do. And I'm going to show you some slides. Let's go into this right now. Okay, this is an example of something that they did. Now, we talked about pre-snap motion. Remember that, pre-snap motion. In this exact situation, this is Khalil Mack covering a tight end. Okay, that's an immediate mismatch right there. Now this happened because they lined up. These two tight ends were sitting right here, and they rolled out on the edge. This is a tight end and a tight end. Guys, that's an immediate. That's why pre-snap motion is so valuable in the NFL, and that's why the defense is always on their heels. Now, as this progresses, you're going to see how Derwin James right here is going to be bit hard. This guy in the middle, I believe this, I'm drawing a blank on it. I think it's Reynolds. He cuts across. You're going to see read and react. And again, going back to the initial base defense, as I talked about, the safety has to look at the crossers coming across from the other side. He doesn't. He bites on this one right here, and then he has a free release to the top. It was like a 41-yard play. Crazy. So again, not a bad play call on Brandon Staley's part, but the execution was extremely poor. Again, this is quarters. This is base defense. This is defense 101, guys, right? So when we talk about read, react, versatility, man-to-man, zone, all the above, it's important that these guys diagnose the field correctly. Brandon Staley talks about that all the time. So this is general base defense quarters. And again, this is Khalil Mack, same play. Moving forward, okay, this wide receiver is going to come down. This guy's going to come through. Ben Johnson knew this is exactly how our defense is run. So Derwin James was in a dilemma. He had to decide, does he bite on the lower route, which he does, or does he follow this guy as he's supposed to in the pattern match zone concept for the crosser? Well, he doesn't do it. He did not do the pattern match zone concept that Brandon Staley was suggesting. Again, we lead the league in explosive plays, and I think it's largely because of the confusion of some of these conversations around pattern match and the way he wants things run. Again, Jasir Taylor said something very interesting. He said, week after week, we sit in the film room trying to fix the same defensive struggles every week. The defense is clearly not getting it, right? So again, as this unfolds, notice he comes down. Derwin James can make a decision. Notice the two linebackers are just in the middle. I've never liked the concept of the linebackers just sitting in the middle like that. I would rather, Kenneth Murray just blitz. What's the point of him being in the middle? Now, the argument is that he's populating the middle. Brandon, they talked about that quite a bit after the Chiefs game, but it doesn't help. Now, notice he's running through. Derwin has to make a decision. Again, pattern match, read, react, adapt. He's not. He's trying to get this guy. And then notice he's open. Okay, he's open. This guy's not quite open yet. So you can make an argument, well, he's not quite open yet. And he might be thinking that Gilman is going to follow him. Again, remember, in quarters, Gilman has this half of the field right here. Okay, Derwin has this half of the field right here. Again, the other concept of Brandon Staley specifically is safeties are supposed to play deep to eliminate the explosive play. Well, doesn't happen. We double this guy right here. You guys see the problem. He's open, easy pitch and catch. And look at this. This guy has three people on him right now. Miami had the exact same situation. Tyreek Hill. I could go through 100 slides like this. And again, Gilman actually bites and says, okay, I got to go after this guy. And he was looking on the opposite side, seeing what was going to happen. And clearly he can tell that nobody's following this guy. So he trails him. I think Gilman actually makes a tackle, if I remember correctly. Now, moving to a different play. This is essentially cover three, right? This is the Gus Bradley cover three system. We ran it quite often. This is the play that killed us at the very end. This is the last play in the drive. Here's the problem. I believe this is Jasir Taylor. He does a corner blitz. Okay. Let me be very clear about something. Matt Money Smith talked about this on Chargers Weekly as well. This is pattern match again. Now, the reality is this. Jasir is so far away. He needs to at least get up on this guy's ass, right? This is Khalil Mack. At least get right here. At least get 5 yards closer. He's 25 yards away from even. He's not even close. He's the far side of the hash, 20 yards away. He's not going to make the play. Watch as this unfolds. And again, guys, it's read, react. Now, these two guys right here are going to be man-to-man on these two wide receivers right here completely. and they're just going to do go routes and clear out the entire side of the field. Crosser comes underneath. Again, that's why crossers are so big against our defense, our pattern match zone defense. Watch, okay? He comes in, carries the vertical, and again, in his defensive scheme, he needs to cover him for a brief period of time. Cover, pass off to somebody else. Well, there's going to be nobody there. Watch this. So watch the way this one plays. Goes, and Jasir, I have no idea why he runs this corner right here. Guys, I'm telling you right now, whether that was the wrong play called, but you don't execute a corner blitz 25 yards away. He's running in now. So he's about to run into this wide receiver as he's crossed. I mean, dude, here's the quarterback right here. He is still, 10 yards away from. I mean, you're basically going 10 to 11, 10 versus 11 at this moment. I mean, it's crazy. I don't even know why he did it. The area is open. And then this is Kenneth Murray, or no, this is Eric Kendricks. He notices, holy smokes, this guy's completely open. And again, remember, in zone coverage, he's supposed to cover that zone. So he covered him. He was supposed to pass him off. Oh, shit. There's nobody there to cover him. Guess what? He runs him. He's still running. He's got the ball in his hand, and he's got a shit ton of grass. He gets tackled, I think, on the 30-yard line or something of that nature. It's completely ridiculous, guys. And again, I get the concept, right? Pattern match. Makes sense. I understand, but there's no communication. There's no versatility. They're not passing people off. There's no communication. Oh, this guy's crossing. How do you let this person know that this guy's crossing when they're looking at somebody? And they're such a good play action team. By the way, we're the worst team in the NFL against play action. And the Lions are one of the best teams in play action. We got beat on it constantly. We showed you this on our pregame before the Packers game. This is an example of a really bad play call, right? And again, I truly just get frustrated with the way Brandon Staley calls plays occasionally. Like, this guy's open. It's 4th and 2, and you're playing this like sloppy zone. Joey Bosa's on the ground, taking a nap, apparently. I don't know what's going on with him. And again, it's maddening when you sit back and think about it, how bad we have played at times in this situation. This is the end of this Popper article. I just kind of want to read it, and then I'm going to wrap up my thoughts on it. And this is exactly that play. He went up the sideline for 41 yards, moving the lines into field goal range. We ended the game on that, right? Good play design, Staley said, and a good execution by them. He's not wrong. We didn't play it very well at all, right? We just did not play that sideline correctly. The Chargers are 44 games into the Staley area. They rank 30th in defense EPA per play and heading into week 11. The blame falls on everyone, execution scheme, and play calling. It's exactly a direct quote from Daniel Popper. I agree with that 100%. It really falls on everybody. The pattern match zone defense, again, let me just recap. Again, it's read and react. We're not doing that well. Zone principles, you could argue we're okay in zone at times. And I'm going to say the word times, right? Because we're doing very good against the run. Man-to-man adaptation, not good. We're horrible at that because we're not passing off well to other players. As you're seeing in crossing routes, we're extremely susceptible to crossing routes, horribly susceptible to crossing routes. And for whatever reason, our deep balls, we're not even defending those very well either. It's just really odd. And the communications have been very poor, and we're not versatile, right? So the general concept of what pattern match is supposed to be is still not being executed properly at all. And again, just like Daniel Popper said, the blame falls everywhere. Execution, scheme, and play calling, all the above. This defense has been very poor. But again, as Brandon Staley said over and over again, the buck stops with him. He's the head coach. It's all on him. Guys, hopefully I shed some light to what pattern match zone defense is for Brandon Staley. He's backed off of that exact terminology a little more this season just because he's had so much heat on it. He didn't really know how to explain it very well. Clearly, his team doesn't quite know how to, understand it or explain it or even execute it properly. My final thought, press man, too high safety. That's it. And then if Derwin wants to blitz, great. You have one high safety. Gilman, you stay up top. You cover the entire back end, and you cover the long ball, and that's it. So I just think we're a better team playing more press man. I think we're just really bad at zone. That's my thoughts. Guys, what are your thoughts? Did I help explain it? Did I make it more confusing? Let me know what you guys think. As always, Andrew, Bolt Bros. See you guys in the next one.